I'm Dr. Aaron Abraham. I'm from India. I've been living in Kiryat Arba, Hebron, for last 6 months, and it's great to be here. It's so nice here. I'm enjoying my best of time in my life, though I'm away from my work. But it's something like, I needed this break after hard working, so much working in India. I needed this break, and I'm really wonderful. It's so wonderful and so nice. I was just a little go back. I was born in a small village in the country called India, and then graduated from a capital. Grew up in a village for a while, and then I came to a town, and then to a city of a state, a capital city of a state in India. And cosmopolis life, 25 years in Mumbai. So that's one thing. But coming to Kiryat Arba and Hebron is really a wonderful experience. The people are so nice here. Now, I don't have to. I think this is the first talk or interview I'm giving being a Jew. The rest all were like, I'm in the process, just few months more, and this Beit Din exam, or my children's this, my wife is this, but now this is my first talk or my first appearance on the screen as a Jew. So it's really, I'm enjoying for last 1 month. It's wonderful to be a Jew. It's wonderful to be a Jew, believe me. And today, retrospectively, if I go back 20 years from the time I started practice of Judaism, though it was very long, but I'm so satisfied. It had a worth to begin with, and to whatever you say, whether it was a struggle, whether it was a try, whether it was whatsoever. Once upon a time, it looked to me like I will never go to Israel as a Jew. I'll have to stay back in India. I created the world also to live rest of the time. But I never abandoned the practice of Judaism. Never, never, never. In fact, the sincerity and faith towards the system, towards the religion, towards the Hashem, and towards the people Israel, nation Israel, it was more stronger and stronger. The bond between me and the nation, and first of all with Hashem, and then to the nation, and then to the system of religion, grew more stronger and stronger, despite of so many refusals. But I never, even once upon a time, that's what I said. It looked to me that we would not be able, neither me nor my children would be able to go to Israel to live there. But we never abandoned the practice. In fact, then these two angels came in my life.
But tell us, how did you get to Judaism in the first place?
Yes, so that's what's. It's very nice that I'm very satisfied and very happy today. But it's not that all. It's like, I was, if I go back 20 years back, I was not a stable-minded person like today I am. I'm very happy, I'm very satisfied. Though I don't have anything. I mean, I'm still getting into the system. I'm getting into the routine of the Israeli life. And I'm not yet fully into that. But still, I'm very satisfied. But this was not the case 20 years ago. I was boiling. I was frustrated. There was no peace in my mind. I was very much disturbed with everything. And then I started searching for the right from the very beginning. And I was so frustrated that I broke the idols in the house. And I was very much against of that. Very much against of that. Because if it didn't pay us or didn't give us, didn't give us anything, the first thing, the peace should come in somebody's mind if you are doing something. Especially the worship. But it didn't come that way. So I was very frustrated, and I said, this is useless. And I had a very tough time with my father.
What kind of background did you grow up in?
I was born as a Hindu, and really very sincere. I don't want to say that I was a sincere Hindu as well. Like I'm today a very sincere Jew. I don't want to say I'm fanatic, but I'm following everything of Judaism by my heart, brain, and everything, physically, mentally, and soul also. And the same way I was as a Hindu.
What disturbed you about Hinduism?
But I was not happy. I was not happy with looking at the system, looking at the things like, I was not happy. The real what satisfaction I have today was beyond, it's beyond the reach. Or
Why weren't you happy? What disturbed you?
I don't know, probably the call from Hashem, because he must have seen me that I'm not I'm a different person, very simple, very honest, and very sincere towards everything, my work, my whatsoever. I was a very good student. I used to top the class always.
Now, as a young man in your home, in your father's home, you said that there were statues in the home, there were idols in the home?
Yes, we are from a very, very good community. We are better than, we are very, very superior in our caste, in our this. And we have everything of today also they are having. My brothers follow the same thing. My brothers' children follow the same thing.
What kinds of things do they have there? So, you know what, maybe just so people have an idea of where you're coming from, okay, and how far you've come, okay, tell me a little bit about, what does Hinduism do for people that know nothing about Hinduism like me, that, and especially what disturbed you in Hinduism? Why did it turn you off? Why did you decide that you had to leave that?
Okay, yeah, that's, the Hinduism is a system or a religion like, there are 36 crores. That's the figure of the numbers of God in Hinduism. The thing is that you're not looking like, in one direction. You have several things like today is some other God's day after tomorrow is some other God's day. After some time you have to celebrate something. It's not like, you are one thing you are thinking about. Your mind, your thought process everywhere.
And these gods, they're represented as statues?
Yes, they have statues. Without a statue, you cannot worship. That's not worship. It's called worship in Hinduism. You have to bow down and you have to offer them something. You have to wash them. You have to color them with a different kind of color. And you have to put their clothes on and off.
So you used to have in your house in India statues and idols.
Yes, of course. It was a Hindu house, and everybody used to worship idols.
And you fed the idols?
Yes, as I said, I was a very sincere Hindu as well. But then I realized that this is something wrong. The other part of Hinduism is also very, very interesting. Like you have worship, and then you have your practical life. This is something unbelievable and amazing, and which disturbed me. A lot. What is you worship, you do whatever. But then your way of life is what you want.
In other words, there's no connection between your life and the religion?
No, there is no connection in between life and religion. In life, whatever you say, you do is all right. The gods of Hinduism would never say that, listen, if you do this mistake, you have to be like, you'll be punished. You'll be rewarded if you do good things, and you'll be punished if you do bad things.
And so when did you start to change?
Yeah, this is because when I grew up, I was educated that these changes started coming into my life. I was very upset with these. The idols, they don't do anything. You keep worshipping them, you keep feeding them, you maintain them, everything you do for them. But what happens then? You worship them, but in your life, maybe I followed it, but the majority of people, they don't look at, they don't do. They have, like for instance, what they say, if they are doing anything wrong. It's very interesting. This is, I want everybody to understand. Any individual, if he has to do something wrong, what he will say, it's his wish. And he will do everything. Any wrong thing he will do, and he will say it's God's wish. He is doing everything. He is performing everything. He is responsible for my all deeds. But this concept did hurt me very, very badly. Because I was so sincere, so honest, and so simple. But around me, people were, I said.
Did you have discussions with people about this?
I said, what is this? They say, you don't worry, he's doing everything.
And when did this change really start to express itself in your life?
I was totally independent because I had to live with my father. But then when I realized that now I'll live my own life and I'll be able to do something on my own, then I started resisting. I said,
what was the major force in your resistance?
So to break the thing, to go away from it, I think it destroyed everything, and to see that the other people also realize that he has done and nothing happened to him. And then
you actually destroyed these?
I too, some of them, the statues are made of brass. Sometimes rich people, they have silver statue, and some they have some clay. So clay, I could break them quite easily because just throw on the ground or you hit with hammer.
And you did this you broke these statues in your house?
In my house,
in your father's house?
Yes, in my father's.
What did he do?
No, he was very, very furious because he's also like he was now, unfortunately or fortunately, whatever you say, he's not with us now. But he was very furious because he was very sincere Hindu. Kind of, like...
What did he say to you?
He said, what the hell you have done this? It's, he wanted to do... Probably he would have killed me. But I avoided to go before him.
And what did you say to him?
I said, see, this is what happened now. If they can't protect themselves, how they'll going to protect us? And he was also... It was very, very logical and very, very authentic kind of a thing, which he couldn't say no or anything. So he had to keep quiet. But time to time, he used to show that anger, and I was avoiding him. Fortunately, I was selected to study medicine so I left the place. And it gave me so much liberty to live alone and to think about myself, who I am and from where and whatsoever. And that's also kind of a beginning of when I became independent, started living alone. That was the time where I could think about myself, who I am.
Now, during this whole period of time, you had no contact with Judaism or the Bible or anything?
No, frankly speaking. Only I heard from I heard that there is a Christian religion, the Bible. I didn't know much about Judaism, much about Israel. I didn't know about anything much about the Jewish people.
Where did you come in contact with?
So when I graduated, as I said, I wanted to explore the things, and then I was searching for my boiling inside, a storm in my mind and heart. So I immigrated Bombay to come from a state city of capital city of the state to a cosmopolis. I thought, I'll come to Bombay, I'll have better people, more educated, more understanding people. So I started living with them. But they were also the same mindset with the idols and exactly the same. Do whatever you like, but he's performer, he's doing beside and he's guiding you. Same concept. So I said, people are educated or living in big city, but the mindset is almost the same.
So where did you first come in contact with
So I was working in a hospital, and in the nights and during daytime I was learning the diamond business to do better in life. To keep myself fit, I joined a gymnasium. And in the gymnasium, there were two young pastors, young fellows, something like 25, 26-year-old. And they contacted me because I used to speak good English. And till then, during my medical education and living in Bombay for a few years, I think 1 or 2 years, I learned English well. So I could communicate with them. They could communicate with me. And they invited me to attend their Bible classes. They said, we have a meeting. They didn't tell exactly because my Hindu name was there, and they knew that I'm a Hindu. So directly don't say that we are converting people or we are teaching Bible and religion, so and so forth. They said, we have a meeting on Sunday at 9:30, 10 o'clock. Why don't you come and join us? Let's see what. So I said, oh.
These were Christians?
These are Christian young pastors. And then their idea was kind of a missionary work. Finally, I came to know that they want to convert me. And then I disassociated with them. So I went to the class and I stayed with them for an hour, and they liked me, they invited me, they liked me very much. Their behavior was okay. So I said, all right, fine. And they were all young people. So I thought, all right. So I went to the second class. In second or third class, when they saw a little bit my sincerity, they gave me the Bible, English Bible. And that was, I think, that was by the Hashem, not by any individual. And because that was, I was searching, I was in search of, and I got it. And I think when they started too much forcing me that you, during their prayers, you lift your hand that I take Christ as my Savior and He has given His blood for our salvation and so forth, I didn't like the idea. I said, no, this is too much. I said, okay, they have given me a Bible, let me read it. But I almost stopped. I stopped to attend the class. Probably one more class I had gone. And I totally stopped it. But from here, I think the new life kind of a thing is started.
So let me ask you, when you started to read the Bible, okay, what they would call today the Old Testament, the Chumash, what impressed you more than anything else?
See, my life changed when I read 10 Commandments. I mean, that was the thing which changed my whole life, my whole living.
Why?
Because once I read the New Testament, because it's still they said you read this is more important than the Old Testament. But I said, no, I'll read everything. So I read first, because they said you read Old Testament. So they said you read New Testament. I said, okay, fine, I'll read. And it's you can also read very fast. You don't have to understand. Only it's about one person and it's small also. So I read it. And when I started the New Testament, Old Testament, I read it and I read it again. And I read it again because I found something so attractive that I couldn't leave it. I was not bothered to read the New Testament, but Old Testament and Psalms, it was my routine to read every day. And as I said, once I went to the 10 Commandments, that was a turning point. And turning point was that I read once, I read twice, I read thrice, many, many times. And the most thing was that here only one God, and He's talking to you. There's nobody in between. See this, the very special thing of this 10 things document is He's talking to you. Nobody else, no mediator, nobody. He is talking to you that I am your God, and especially the first two things, first two commandments. You know what I thought? I think that's it. I think this is my life. This is my life.
Was there any particular individual that
Yes.
you read about that really struck you?
Yes, individual, of course. I should not forget her. She's a lady, is my wife today. And her background was a Protestant Christian background. And in her village, they have a system called Sunday Bible class. And they teach everything to the children on all Sundays from 9 o'clock to 10, 11, and then they have their service. And this lady comes in my life, and when she sees that I'm having a Bible and I'm reading it, she starts liking me, and she thought I'm a Christian, and she was so nice to me. And then we became very close to each other. We started moving around with the discussions of Old Testament and New Testament. I was surprised to listen to her. Whatever question or whatever character and time in Old Testament I asked, it was on her tip of the tongue. I said, you're so good, why don't you teach me? So we started this way. Even we started practicing kind of, that time it was Christianity together. And when this, after reading, she was in my life, she was teaching me, we were moving around, we became very close, and finally we got married because I thought this lady has brought so many changes in my life.
How then did you evolve then from this practice of Christianity into Judaism together with her?
Yes, and even we had a little bit rift also. When I said to her that I was looking for this and I got it. And now this is my life, and my life will go around only these 10 things. And please, if you don't mind, if you get angry, don't mind. I'm not going to go to church. I'm not going to say, in the name of Christ, Amen, or whatsoever, please. Don't mind. But I still love you. You're my wife, and we'll live together. But so she was a little upset. And as I said in my previous, all the interviews and talks, that she was a little upset. So she said, all right, no, you need little more deep knowledge of the religion and system. So she refers me to 2-3 their pastors, the Indian pastors, and they had a long chat with me. But they couldn't answer me. Why? Well, my answer was simple. I said, you read these 2 things, first 2 things. When Hashem, those days I never knew what Hashem, but when the God said that I'm only one, I brought you out of Egypt, and you don't worship anybody. Now just see, it's so simple to understand, and then he's talking to you, nobody else. And why you say the third person in the name of Jesus Christ, Amen, and you say to him that it's so simple to understand. My English is, my mother tongue was Hindi, but I understand English, and this is written in English. Answer my question. No, they said Trinity, some idea. This is Holy Spirit and Holy Ghost. I said, no, this is not, I can't adjust with this. I'm sticking to these first two things, and rest of the things are also wonderful.
So after you discovered this, and you started to understand this, how did you meet Judaism?
Yeah, now, this was like, so she used to say some prayers. I used to read every day, Old Testament, and then I read more and more and more. And then I stopped going to the church, and stopped reading the New Testament, stopped saying in the name of blah, blah, totally stopped. Even I didn't know how to pray, but reading every day was my living. Like, read every day Old Testament, 1 chapter, and say, you just help me. You are my Savior. I'm under you. Now you are everything for me. Then I read a little more about the Israel, more about Jerusalem, more about the circumcision, more about the system, more about other things. And then I said, till then Shemuel came in our life, and we gave him name Shemuel. And to circumcise I was circumcised. So it's written that the covenant between God and Abraham, that you should circumcise yourself. Though it was a medical operation, I thought I'm circumcised, so I have finished. I was very excited. And now it came to circumcision of Shemuel. Now that also, that in fact brought me into Judaism. I was searching how to circumcise. When I said my medical operation was medical operation for me, but what I'll do for him, I'll try to do according to the...
You're talking about your son.
I'm talking about Shemuel's circumcision.
That's your son?
My son, yes.
How old was he?
So he was at that time something like 1.5 years. Okay? So I thought, and I planned that mine was not the Jewish circumcision. I should have my son's circumcision done by a Jewish person, according to the Jewish system. That time I never knew halakha, that time I never knew Chumash, nothing. Just these simple things. So I was searching for some community, Jewish community, that I should meet someone to understand how we can perform this circumcision and how we come into the Jewish life. In Bombay, there's a Sassoon library which was built from the money of Sassoons. The place we are sitting, for your kind information, was built by Sassoon's money. Abraham Avinu was built by Sassoon's money. And I'm so lucky, oh my God, I'm so lucky that I'm sitting, and I grew up in fact, I grew up in Baghdadi synagogue, the clan, the people from Baghdad. Mr. Sassoon was from Baghdad. And he donated a lot of money to build this synagogue. And he built two more synagogues, three synagogues in Bombay. One is in Pune, two in Bombay, three synagogues in India. They're beautiful. The people, whoever, and I meet them here, and they visited that synagogue, they say, we have never seen such beautiful synagogues okay. So Mr. Sassoon was a great and philanthropist. He used to donate money for public, for people, for health reason, for education, and so on and so forth. So he built this library. Its name is still there. It's a Sassoon Library. David Sassoon Library. So I said, this is sound, and I came to know also that this is contributed by Jewish, this is built by Jewish money. So one evening I went there, it was open, somewhere around 8:30 in the evening, and I said, I want to know where is the Jewish church. I never knew the synagogue. The fellow was pro, though he was not a Jew, but he was pro-Jewish because he was sitting in a Jewish library. So he said, what you're talking? They never call it church. They call it synagogue. I'm sorry, he was a little bit very little aggressive that I don't know anything and I'm in that building. I said, okay, fine, but can you tell me where it is? Okay, synagogue, but tell me where it is. He said, you see across the street is a building, synagogue building. You will not find it difficult because it's written in Hebrew. You will find it that's a synagogue. But it's 8:30 now, it's closed, so you have to go sometime during the day. So, okay, thank you very much indeed. I'll be grateful to you, and I went away, and then I planned to go to the synagogue. And fortunately, it was Saturday afternoon when I went to the synagogue to find out about somebody who can circumcise my son. So it's on the first floor, so I was climbing the steps. And the caretaker who was taking care of, he was a non-Jew. He saw me coming up. He said, who are you? I said, I want to see a Jewish priest, your priest. People will laugh today because those days I never knew. It is called Chazan, it is called Rabbi, or it is called nothing I knew. So I said, and he was also a little bit angry. I'm saying Jewish priest. He asked me, who are you? Are you a Jew? I said, no, I'm not a Jew. So he said, you can't enter. You don't come here. So I was a little bit upset. But I was taking my steps back. But by the way, from behind, I heard a voice, okay, young man, what do you want? Very simple, very nice, stable voice. And a gentleman was climbing up. He said, all right, okay, don't go back. Come with me. And he sat with me for around 45 minutes. He spoke to me all this story. Then he said, come, young man, you're like boiling, His name, Mr. Freddie Sofer. Unfortunately, we lost him just a month ago in London. He died somewhere around 88, 90. And he was such a nice gentleman. Listen, this way about Mr. Freddie also. I will be grateful to this family called Sofer family because... So, okay, let me discuss this, what happened with him. So he heard my whole story. Oh, you want to circumcise your son and want to live as something like Jewish life? Oh, it's quite interesting, but young, I remember his words, I will never forget. Young man, it is not that simple, the way you are speaking. It's very tough to be a Jewish, very, very tough to be a Jewish. It's better you find out something else. This is not the way for someone to live. It's very, very tough. 2-3 times he told me, but I said no. Well, my decision is just to continue the same way, and I think I should do it, whether it's tough or easy. And I've been doing this for last so many months and almost a year, and I have to go ahead with this because I have decided, and I never go back. Once I had decided that I should become a doctor, I'm a doctor today. Okay, your determination, fine. I can't help you any further, except instead I'll do what, there is a phone number of a rabbi. You take that and talk to him. I think he is the person who will have solutions for this problem. I can do this, more than this you don't expect from me. I said, fine, thank you very much indeed. And today is Shabbat. Today we don't call anybody because the Jews will never answer. I said, no, today is not possible. I'm busy. I'm going out of Bombay for 2 weeks and then I'll come back. And so he gives me the number and I took it. I called Rabbi. His name Rabbi Shlomo Grafstein from Canada. He was working for Joint, American Joint. The American Joint used to hire rabbis from America, either from New York or from any part of the world, especially English speakers, because the Bombay Jewish community speaks English. So 1 year contract, the Joint used to hire the rabbis. He'll stay for the community. He'll serve the Jewish community in Bombay for their all purposes, questions, answers. But he was not allowed to divorce and he was not allowed to convert people. These were the two conditions. Except rest of the things, teaching Hebrew, teaching Chumash, the Brit Torah, all rest of the Jewish things he used to do for the Jewish community. I called him. I said, I'm Dr. Abraham speaking. I want to talk to you, Rabbi. He said, you come at so-and-so time and so-and-so day. I went there. He was waiting for me. And we started. Yes, what's the problem? Why you're a non-Jew looking like? And because one can, from the manners only, I didn't kiss the mezuzah. I didn't know that time how to enter the place where the mezuzah is. So he understood that I'm not a Jew. And I explained to him, it was around 45, 50. He also said the same thing. You don't take it very easily, young man. It's not easy to live as a Jew. It's better you continue whatever you are. Much, much better for you. I said, listen, Rabbi, I have something like, this search for last many years is now ending, almost ended. And I have come to a place, this thing like where I'm finding it very comfortable and very easy. And I think I have got what I wanted. He was amazed to listen to this. He said, all right, okay. And few more discouragement things he said. But then when he saw that I'm persisting with the same thing and I'm not going to leave, then he said, all right, I think there is a Jewish soul in you. Now, okay. Now I will not discourage you. It's really very tough. First of all, is to convert yourself and to become a Jew, and then you can circumcise your son. That's the system. That's a halakha. Now, what you have to do now, I don't know how long it will take, maybe years for you to become a Jew. And now, first thing you must do to attend prayers, and you start from next Saturday. Then he gave me a little idea about Shabbat, when it starts, how it starts, and one Jew what he does on Shabbat. So he suggested me to go to the same synagogue built by Sassoons, named Knesset Eliyahu Synagogue. That synagogue does the ideal service. So you go from next Saturday. And then he said, this is the library. He gave me, I think, 3 or 4 books. Read and read as much as possible. But don't miss any prayer. Okay? And he said, I'm conducting here Hebrew classes. So you join me. I'll teach you Hebrew. That's must. You must pray in Hebrew. I said, thank you very much, Rabbi. So something like it started from there. I started going to synagogue. I started attending his classes. He gave me enough material to read and learn Hebrew. And by the way, because of my sincerity and my interest, I learned to read Shema in just 2 weeks, 10 to 15 days. I started going to the synagogue. Mr. Freddy saw me. He was a little, but he didn't say anything. And this Mr. Freddy, afterward, when he saw my sincerity and my determination, He used to have we used to call him Abraham Avinu of Mumbai, Bombay, because what Chabad is doing today in Mumbai, Mr. Freddy used to do. On Friday evening, he'll go to hotel, people will call him, Mr. Freddy, I'm from New York, I'm from London, I want to have Shabbat with you. And I don't know your house's address, I don't know the synagogue. He will say, don't worry, this time you be ready and I'll come and pick you up. So he used to collect people, take to the synagogue, and from synagogue to his house. Very nice hot meal on Friday in the evening. The same thing on Saturday in the morning, and then also. So he used to do this. When he saw my sincerity, he started calling me to join his kiddush. And first I went few days. And then he asked me, you have a family? I said, yes, I have a boy and my wife. He said, why don't you bring them also? So we started in his house. And that was also a very good beginning. And after a few years, I was so nice in prayers and singing that I started leading the prayers, and that I started leading Kiddush in his house. And he used to give me the place where the person who says the prayers. It was really wonderful. I'm missing him today. And unfortunately, he couldn't see me as a Jew. That was, he encouraged me after that when he saw my sincerity that this fellow is okay. Now he spoke to the authorities in Israel that why don't you take this family? They're very nice people. And we have been together for the last many years and I haven't seen anything wrong in the family. Why don't you? But unfortunately, nothing worked. Anyway, so that was the synagogue. Then my wife also joined me and we started going to synagogue together. Though Samuel was not circumcised, but we got into the real system. Prayers, all the Chagim, all the festivals, everything, we never stopped. Very sincerely, I attended all. Joint has a program. In the meantime, when Rabbi said you study, you read these books in library, I started going to read in libraries. The Joint's manager saw me, and he asked who he is. Asked somebody else. People who knew me, they said he's a doctor, he comes here to study and he's not Jewish. So one day he called me, he said, Doctor, what's your name? I said, my name is Aaron Abraham. And he said, Joint needs a doctor as a volunteer, will you help us? I said, why not? So then I got into this. Then Joint, we have a lot of poor Jews in the villages near Bombay. So then I started treating them, I started listening to their problems. So I became doctor come social worker and I used to look into the problems, and then not only that, I will listen to them. No, the solution. Then I'll tell Joint, they became more closer to me than the authority of Joint, because they saw a very sincere, simple fellow who listens and who tries to do. And then after a few months, a year later, I started fighting with the authority of Joint, that these people need this, why don't you give them? They used to give some dole of, say, 500 rupees, which is something, say, $15 a month, like, okay, you maintain your house. And then things on all the Chagim, Matzot, and everything, on all the festivals, so that everybody enjoys well. Then they had some social problem, this and that, and they put before me, the doctor, listen, this is the problem, and we have applied to Joint, and they have not responded. So I came back to Bombay, and I opened up why this matter is still pending. It is not done. They applied for this aid for many, and then it was done. So they also realized that this fellow is not only he's a talker, but he implements what he says.
And this is where you met the Holzbergs?
No, then the Holzbergs come later. So then they have a program to Joint's volunteers, six weeks program for the further training in their field, what they're doing in Bombay for the Jewish community. So they used to send there's a Buncher Foundation in America. The Buncher Foundation gives a lot of money to Joint, American Joint, to bring these people from several different countries. and train them for 6 weeks here, and then they go back and again work nicely for the community. So I saw the advertisement in the regular magazine called Coal Bombay, Coal India, that we need young volunteers and we'll sponsor them for each and everything, ticket, stay, food, everything, and training. And they'll have to have a little bit kind of a small contract that they'll work after coming back to Bombay. They'll have to work for the Jewish community. So I applied. So first year it was refused. The second year I applied. And I came to Israel for 6 weeks. And that was also a very big, very nice experience. Why? Because from the time I started reading Siddurim, I started listening Torah, I started attending classes, I listen always Israel, Yerushalayim, Western Wall, Kotel, this. So the Bet HaMikdash, it was destroyed and it's still there, some part. My desire grew that I must go at least once in my lifetime. And to living in Israel that time was not even in my mind. I said, okay, we'll be Jewish or whatsoever, we'll live in Bombay. But at least I must go once to pray near his place, because this is the holiest place for Jews. And I didn't have money. So because of this, I came and I stayed on Malka Israel Street, which is not far from the old city. And when I realized that it's not far from the old city, not once, I went there almost every evening after finishing the day. I'll go walk there, pray, and come back again. And I think then I realized that most probably, he is listening to me. And now I was very firm on this, that I should never leave this, and I will not leave this, because now I got a confirmation from him also that now you stay with me, that's all, and I'll take care of you. I came back again to Israel for a conference sponsored by Joint. I came back to again next year to do a course. 4 times I visited Israel without being a Jew. The Jewish community was amazed. Going very regularly to synagogue, very sincere on Chagim, everything. There is a president of the Knesset Eliyahu synagogue called Mr. Solomon Saufer. He called me one day, "Doctor, come here." "Yes, sir." "I have seen so much sincerity in you. You're very simple. You're very sincere. Now we can't keep you away from the community. I have contacts with that synagogue, and that synagogue is converting people. So why don't you go? I'll talk to the president of the synagogue. Why don't you go and get converted and come back?" I said, "You're the head of the community. I'm coming to the synagogue for the last 5 years." "Okay, go." So on his recommendation, they took my case, we were converted. After I came back again for some fellowship or something. I tried now, and 4 times I came, I saw the Israeli life, I saw the daily life, so wonderful, you pray nicely. I attended prayers in the synagogues, morning you do shachrit, mincha in time, or brit in time, and then so I thought, why can't I live in Israel? I'm already converted now. So I applied, and it was refused, because they said, you are not yet a Jew. Anyway, but that didn't mean to us anything. If they have refused, no problem, that's their problem. If they don't consider us Jews, no problem. I told my children and now I had little one, Sarah also. We got Sarah, Shmuel and Sarah. The family was growing, increasing numbers of members. And but that didn't do anything. Like if they have refused, we should stop the prayers. No, we became more sincere, more honest, and more determined to continue the same life. But anyway, it went on. Once upon a time, it looked like we'll never come to Israel on this. And Sharon also came in my life in 1999. We were 5 to maintain the family. But believe me, I'm not exaggerating. Our practice never stopped. Then I thought, okay, if I'm not going to Israel, till then I did a lot of research work. I learned in intensive care in Israel also for 3 months in Wellington Hospital. I learned many things. I went back to Bombay. I started these things there in my intensive care. I do research on magnesium, very simple molecule on all my patients, bad patients, and they did very well. I wrote a small, simple paper. I presented that in 2001, I think. And it was selected. It was in India, national, it was #1 paper. I was awarded by a national award from the International Society of Clinical Chemistry. It was wonderful. They gave some money also, around $1,000. So that way I was growing, because this was, though I was stopped from this, but Hashem was helping me, His wisdom. I did very well in intensive care those all days. And when I thought it's not possible to go to Israel, let become more professionally efficient. So because of this research work, I applied to a very big center in Brussels, that I would like to be trained by you people and I would like to do some research. They said, without any hassle, you'll come here. I went to Brussels for around a year. I was with their local Sephardi community. Rabbi Ben Israel is the chief there. And I was very sincere, and they called me on Aliyah one day. It's a purely Orthodox synagogue, Orthodox community. And my background, they saw my sincerity. They used to include me in Minyan. They used to call me on especially for the shiur on Sunday in the morning to pray. And they one shot, Aaron, you have to be there tomorrow because we need a Minyan. Sometimes they were one shot. So they used to... It was a very nice experience, very good, and they loved me so much. Still they like me very much. I go there once in a year, I think. In the meantime, now, Rabbi Gavi, these two angels, they enter my life. I went back from Brussels to Bombay, and it was, I heard that this couple has come with a child, and I went to attend a program. I think it was on Holocaust light candling. So in the other synagogue, not Knesset Eliyahu, other synagogue called Magen David, also owned by the Sassoons, built by Sassoon. So I went there and I saw these people. And like Rabbi, and I was not considered anything in Bombay, like though after the conversion, some synagogue used to include me in Minyan and some not. I was a little hesitant to go very directly to them to talk. How are you, Rabbi? Welcome, this and that. But from Mr. Freddy's house, the advice was given to me that they go regularly to Beth Chabad because that's very close to Mr. Freddy's house. Aaron, why don't you also join us? We'll go. Today they are having some program. We'll go in it. I said, fine, we'll go. So we went. And then after some time, I called Rabbi, I got the numbers, and I said, Rabbi, I have a problem. He said, come, and then we started talking. I have a problem, Rabbi. I'm not considered as still Jew. There's still a little bit instability in my mind. I don't have proper peace. He encouraged me, don't worry, doctor, you'll have peace. But from my side, I can't help you. But this house is open for you. You can come anytime. I gave my numbers to him that I'm a doctor, you're new here in Mumbai. Any sort of help you need, as a doctor or as a human, please call me. Because you're new, you don't know Bombay, and I'm here for last 20 years, many years. So he said, all right. And after a few days, I received a call from him. The doctor, my son is not keeping well, why don't you come and have a look at him? I went there immediately, very promptly, which he liked very much. And I organized things for Mendy. His name was Menachem. Everything went very smoothly. And he was so happy. My conduct, my way of talking, my way of management. I spoke to the pediatrician. I arranged some medication. And he was. And then a bond grew in between me and him this way. And I became the family doctor. We became very good friends. Then I went back again to Brussels for 1 year. For 1 month training again, I used to refurbish my medical professional knowledge. And I came back from here again with excitement. Rabbi, Ben Israel has considered me as an Orthodox Jew. Now we are planning to go back for conversion, and B'ezrat Hashem then we'll be proper Jews. Till then, he had studied my case properly with Geveret Rikki, and they had some discussion. He said, Aaron, we are already planning something for you. Why you are talking something? 5 people you fly to Brussels. It will cost you more than 1 lakh rupees. First of all, to get a visa for you people is difficult because the Europeans, they don't give visas for Indians very easily. Now listen, we have planned something for you. I'll teach you Torah and I'll teach you all the halachot. I'll teach you all the system. You come here once or twice in a week, all together. You, your wife, and all the children. And within a year or maybe 8-9 months, a year, we'll convert you here. You don't have to go Brussels, you don't have to go, and then you become proper Jewish. He was so kind because he studied, and I was very sincere even. We met in synagogue almost on all Shabbatot. And then we became very close. I remember once when Dovi, the second child, they shifted Menachem to Israel in some center. They Tesas, this meant for especially for these type of children. Then Dovi became also the same. He also had Tesas. So he said, Aaron, he brought Dovi to my hospital, and the pediatrician said, we'll have to keep him in the hospital, otherwise he's going to go. So it was Friday afternoon, and I saw his face was so gloomy. So I told him, Rabbi, you don't worry about it. Let you put him in the hospital. I'll stay with him, and you go and take care of the guests. So first he said, no, Aaron, I'm not feeling comfortable. I said, you don't worry about it. I'm a doctor. This is my hospital, my staff. Nothing will go wrong. Please, you go and first you perform your duty. So he goes back. It was very nice. On Sunday or Monday, Dovi was discharged from the hospital. I didn't have time 2-3 days, and I went to meet him and to see Dovi again. And Dovi, Baruch Hashem, Dovi was all right. Rabbi brought a very thick bundle, a packet, an envelope in which a very thick bundle, a lot of money was kept, I think maybe $100 and more. He said, Aaron, this is for your service. I said, Rabbi, what are you talking? I didn't do this for money. I did for you and for your children. It was Shabbat. Don't feel that I'm doing whatever I'm doing for money. You are our guest here. You are in Bombay. You are new here. We have to take care of you. He almost forcefully kept the envelope in my pocket. You need the money. You need money for you and your children. I said, no, Rabbi. This money I will never take. And I returned the packet. And then he brought a set of small books, 5 books of the Chumash. And that's a precious gift for me. I have kept it very nicely with me. Anyway, from that moment we became very, very, the Rabbi understood about us that I'm not for the money. I'm not a people like, I don't belong to the group like very greedy, just opportunist or something sort of exploit. No, he thought this fellow is very simple and very sincere. And that touched him and touched me as well because I was very happy I could do something for them. And so the bond grew very strong. Then he started calling us for Shabbatot on all the occasions, and we danced together on Simchat, many Simchat Torah. We celebrated together. We became very close. And then finally, for him it was very difficult to organize the Beit Din. 3 rabbis, 3 Sumei Shabbat. He thought I'll call somebody from Thailand, somebody from South Africa, somebody from Rabbi Cantor, his boss, his chief rabbi, but nothing worked. But then I was also in touch with I got in touch with the Jewish agency here that this is my case now. Things are changing in my life. In the last so many years, 1.5, 2 years, I've been with Rabbi Gabi, Orthodox rabbi. So what's my status now? So they were very happy here. They said, all right, okay, take the letter from Rabbi Gabi, what you have done with him. You learned halachot, everything, you and your family, and send the letter immediately. So I did that. He wrote a nice letter that this family must be Jewish. The letter came here, and it went to the chief of the conversion committee, Rabbi Dayan and Memon. They were 2 rabbis. And they were happy to see the letter, and they said, all right, you come, we'll convert you. And this we told to them. Both Rabbi Gabi and Gaveret Ripki, that this is the now changing these changes are occurring now because of you people. And one rabbi from here spoke to Rabbi Gabi. that this is the real letter from you, or this Abraham has written on his own and signed and sent. He said, no, it is true that it's written by me, and I would like to say, they spoke 45 minutes, and he said, I strongly recommend this family for Jewish conversion. So we were just getting ready to come here, but they were upset a little bit. They used to say, now we'll miss you. And they said, once you are Jews, you don't live here. Because he gave me tzitzit, he gave me the cap. That also was very interesting. I entered Beth Chabad one day without cap on my head. And he saw me. And he took me up on the second floor to the synagogue. He said, Aaron, I don't want to see you now anymore without cap on your head. One. And he goes inside and brings one set of tzitzit, the Katan, one for me and one for my son. Now, please put this right away. He taught me how to put, and give this to Shemuel so he'll also start putting. And I want you to live like this. Now, this is my advice to you and request. Wonderful. I said, okay, if you gave me this, and I have still his memory, and this is given by him. I want to keep this as a souvenir. I'm going to buy 2 from Israel, and this is given by him. Still I'm using. That was also great, bond in between me and him. Anyway, they were very upset that we are coming here, but they were also happy that, all right, your life will change. You will have a very nice, spiritual, simple life in Israel. And then, unfortunately, this happened. The terrible incidents, the attack, and we lost them. Oh my God! For first month we were mad, me and my wife, all children. We didn't know what's happening in our life. Only one part was okay because of Hashem. He gave me wisdom to work sincerely in my Tipur Nimraz intensive care. That's all. The rest, what we are eating, what is going on, the children also, they used to attend schools. But anyway, we were called by Beit Din here, so we left children behind. We came here. We stayed here in Israel for 2 weeks. It brought some good changes in going to Kotel, pray every day there, brought some peace. And then we were not taken up by Beit Din. We were not cleared. They said, you have to come back again after some more studies. So we went back. We started study again. And in the meantime, during the Shavuot and Pesach, there was this reporter from Mizpacha went to Bombay to cover this horrible event. And as usual, we used to go to synagogue on Friday in the evening. This gentleman goes to synagogue. We were also in the synagogue, me, my children, and my wife. We went to Chabad, which was our routine. He also went to Chabad, and we sat together like this. And again, the other side also, my good friend from America who lives in Israel, now living in Israel for last 23, they made Aliyah, but he's American Israeli. So he sat opposite to me. I said like this, and beside me Aaron Granot, the Mizpacha reporter. And he said to him in Ivrit, Gary, I'm here for last 2 days and I have to cover this whole event with my photographer. And Mizpacha has spent a lot of money on us. And so far we have nothing. Thursday morning we came, Friday went. And tomorrow is Shabbat, so we won't be able to do anything. Monday night we are flying back to Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. Nothing we have. He said, why you are breaking your head so much? The person sitting right to you is the right person to talk. He'll give you every information. Because during the attack, we were with Rabbi Gabi. It was, Sandra said we were there all the time, Beth Chabad, throughout. And then I was ready to receive it because Sandra said they are unconscious. So I had still left some hope in my heart and soul that they are alive. And immediately after the attack, the terrorists would be killed by the commandos. I'll take them to my hospital for the further treatment. That was my mind. But what I was told that now, since they're dead, 7:15 or 7:30, it was declared that nobody survived in the attack. And I had to take care of their all that I was given the responsibility that no autopsy must be done on any body on Israeli national, especially these 4 people, most ultra-Orthodox. So, because of this all, everybody knew about my efforts. So Gary said, you talk to this fellow, he was throughout all the time, and he was close to them for not 1 or 2 years. All the time, from the time they came to Bombay, 5-6 years, they were close, good friends, family friends. After the kiddush, food and all, he spoke to me that he would like to interview me. So next day we met after Moshe Shabbat, and the interview went on for 3 hours. He heard this story first, Chabad, and then he got interest in my own personal life. So he said, now you tell your personal life. That he heard, and he comes back, and he sees all the practice. So he asked me, you live like this all? I said, I've been living like this for the last 3-4 years, and nothing stops me from the time Rabbi Gavi told me to, and I'm living. And he was very impressed. So he said, now listen, this is not the place for you to live. First you send your son to me. I'll put him in yeshiva, Machon Meir, let him do the course, and then we'll see. So after a month, after Pesach, I sent Shmuel, and he put him in Machon Meir. Okay, so I was happy, at least Shmuel living in Israel. Then we were planning to come back again for the second meeting with the Beit Din. So I used to call him and ask how is Shmuel, and he used to ask me always, when you are coming? I said, just give me a little time. When you are coming? And one day we decided to come here for a month. And before 7 days before our flying, we received a message that you are coming here forever. How come in 7 days we can think, but anyway, we came here, I left Malka and children behind, and I went to pack up everything, and I came back here. That's also Mr. Aaron Granot's efforts, Gary's efforts, and Gary, then what happened, when I came here, Gary organized my talk in his soul, that how my experience, because of the article appeared in Mespacha with my big photograph. They were very impressed. Many Israelis are impressed. And I'm so happy today that I listened. The doctor, you give us inspiration and give us strength. Being as you struggled for 20 years to become, and it's so nice to listen. And now we are going back in practice, and we'll practice because of your determination. We'll continue. Now we are becoming religious. So that makes me very much happy. Now finally, only what my experience is with Hashem, that once upon a time kind of thing happened, like we were abandoned by the humans. Everybody kindly listen this carefully. Abandoned by humans. But when he sees somebody is sincere, he never leaves you alone. For sure. I will repeat this trillion, billion, any number of times, you tell me. He will never leave you alone. He will send you when he will see that no help is coming to our own, and let's see what he does. He sent 2 angels first. Rabbi Gabi and Gavarit Rebke, these were angels sent by him to bring us back into the real fold of Judaism. Okay, they also went. Now again we were left. The Beit Din didn't take us. Again everything was zero. Then he sent Aaron Granot and another angel, Gary, who proposed, otherwise Aaron Granot would never know who I am, who I was. I'm thinking today, retrospectively, that it was planned by Hashem how I'll be brought to Israel. It's so important to understand this, because those days I didn't understand anything. But now, when I'm talking in this sul today, sitting in this roof, luckily, I'm so lucky, that when I calculated all the events, to say with full of my all soul, heart and mind, that if you are sincere, you are honest, and you are simple, whatsoever, whoever leaves you, don't worry, he will take care of you. By all means. By all means, this also I would like to repeat, by all means he sent Governor Ripke and Rabbi, they taught us and they gave us so much support and love. They loved my children so much that they miss them today very badly. Aaron Granoth, Mr. Aaron Granoth, Gary's all friends, they got together to support and bring us to Israel, and also to keep our moral high. We were very scared, second time meeting with Beit Din examination. We were very scared, and they kept pushing. Aaron, don't worry, second time is hardly anybody, we have seen many cases, second time everybody was clear. And don't worry, even if it be third time, nobody will throw you out of Israel. You'll live here. Or something like, they kept our moral very, very high. All the time. And it's not that they came to Beit Din to support us during our Beit Din examination, to speak to Beit Din some good words. I don't know what they spoken about us. And we were called. More than the time the Beit Din is spent with them than they spent with us. And they called us. That, okay, now you are Am Yisrael. So it's my experience and my with Hashem, dealings with Hashem, that He will never leave you alone. Provided. I would say this also. If you are sincere and honest and simple. And now, this also I must say, I didn't study Torah very much. I didn't study Talmud. I didn't study Midrash because I didn't have that much time because I was very busy in my profession. But during my duty hours also, I used to spare half an hour to say Mincha, half an hour to say Arbit, and in the morning, I never left my prayers. And the same thing I'm doing today also. There are very nice people in Kriyat Arba. Now they have come forward to teach me Torah and to teach me Hebrew. Tonight is the class with them. So, He will never leave you alone. The whole, I've been talking this 45 minutes or 1 hour. The main thing is, conclusion is this, that if you are sincere to Him, He will never leave you alone. He'll send His angels to you in form of like these people. And I'm here. As my one project is already running, after this is, as I told you, that I'm going to write a book on Hebron. Not like history of Hebron or how many, those are all important things, but I'm going to write the real, the place, what Abraham Avinu had done here, right on this land. Very much the same thing, I repeat again and again, that the people who are living here also doing the same thing. Because we were taken by this wide arms by everybody. Come, Aaron, doctor has come, come on, they need this, and we have not cleared our anything. We are not even Chole Chadashim till now. But we have no shortage, we have no deficiency. We have done only one Shabbat, one afternoon Shabbat in our house. And still there is a big queue. Doctor, next Shabbat is with us. Next to next is with us. When you are coming, now, I've been 6 months. Not even one Shabbat we have done in our house. Only one afternoon. We did that too because we thought now we should start ourselves. But still again, the people who called us in month of June and July, they're calling us again. Come now. It was so many days before you were with us. Now you have to come again. So it's Avraham Avinu's ideal place is this, and people are living like him today in Kriyat Arba and Hebron. And I have decided, I don't want to say big words, that I must be buried here only now. I will live throughout my life. Maybe I'll have to go to work, go and work in a big hospital in Yerushalayim because my profile is not fit enough for, it's a little better profile. But I'll live here. Toda Rabba.